Hi, I'm Bonnie with BonnieBayCrochet.com, and today I want to show you how to make the Arrow baby blanket. This really is a beginner project, but it's also a skill builder project. So if you're a beginner and you are confident of the basic stitches such as single crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, slip stitch, and chain, you should be able to accomplish this project. I will show you how to crochet these stitches, and it's actually a beginner's cabling project. All right, let's go ahead and I'll show you what we need to do. For this project, you're going to need 2 scans of Lion Brand Yarns Ice Cream, and the color that I've chosen is called Tutti Frutti. And here's a picture of some other stats on this yarn. Please notice that this is a size 3, or what is commonly referred to as DK, which stands for double knitting. We're not going to do knitting, we're crocheting, but that's just the name that this thinner yarn has been given over the years. Okay, this is 100% acrylic, 3.5 ounce, 100 grams per scan. Each scan has 394 yards, so estimating you're going to need approximately just under 800 yards for your project if you use this particular type of yarn. Now you may choose whichever yarn you like, and you could even bump up to a worsted weight, which is a slightly thicker. Just make sure that you have at least 800 yards for your project. And you're also going to need a size H or 8 or 5.00 millimeter crochet hook. And as always, I recommend that you have a yarn needle handy and a pair of nice sharp scissors, so finishing is a pleasure and not a chore. You are also going to need a size G or 6 or 4.00 millimeter crochet hook. For those of you who like to work with a written pattern, I do have one available in my online Ravelry store. The link is just below in the video description. And I did want to talk about something else before we get started. The dimensions of this Afghan, our baby blanket, is approximately 24 by 26 inches. I do get a lot of correspondence from people, which I welcome, asking me for the numbers to make the project bigger or smaller or however. As you well know, many of these Afghans are not a straight multiple of an even or an odd number. It's not always that easy. But for this particular blanket, if you want to make it larger, you need to add in multiples of 4 to the existing starting chain. Okay, so hopefully you understand what that means. If you want to make the blanket smaller, you subtract multiples of 4 from the existing starting chain, which the starting chain that we're going to be using is 99 chains. Well, I'm going to show you one other thing before I pick up my yarn, and that is, in case I get to be a little too fast for some of you, or in some cases a little too boring or slow, I know that happens to some of you, I want to show you how you can speed me up or slow me down. I'm using my iPhone. I believe you can also do this. I know you can also do this on your computer, but if you just hit that little spot there, and you get this information that pulls up on your phone. And if you hit playback speed, this is set at normal. If you want to slow me down, you can go to actually a quarter of the speed by hitting the 0.25, and then it'll be very slow. Let's suppose you want to speed up. You can always do it 1 1/4 times as fast, 1 1/2, or 1.75. A good thing to do if you want me to just slow down a little bit, you can go to half speed and you hit the 0.5 just right there. And then as you play back, the video will be slowed down quite a bit. So I just wanted to show that to you. In case some of you find that I'm going a little too fast, I'm going to purposely try to go slower. But in case it's not slow enough, feel free to adjust me with the settings on your computer or on your phone. Okay, we're going to start with a slip knot, and the first thing we're going to do is chain 99 chains, and I like to do this in increments of 5, as I've showed many of you before if you've watched other videos. And once we do 5 chains, I like to reposition my 2 fingers that hold my fabric and then do 5 more. So that would be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And on. And that way, if I have to stop and answer a question, which inevitably happens in a family of 7, I don't lose track and hopefully won't lose my patience. So I have 15 stitches here. I'm going to go ahead and finish to 99. Now that I have my 99 chains, we are going to start by working single crochets in the second chain from the hook. So not the first, but the second. We're going to work a single crochet, and you do that by sticking the hook into the stitch, pulling up a strand, yarn over the back of the hook, and pull through 2. And doesn't matter if you put the yarn in front or the back of the hook. I think it really does. It might not change the shape of the stitch, but it will definitely affect your speed and the ease with which you form the stitches. Okay, so let's go ahead and stick our hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook. So go ahead and work the single crochet all the way across. When you get to the end, you should have 98 stitches total. Okay, I finished my first row, and I want to show you that this is a little bit curly, which is pretty normal when you work in the chain for the first time. Now, if yours is extremely tight and extremely curly, you may want to undo this and try making your starting chain a little bit looser. And one way you can do that is by bumping up to the next size hook, just one size larger. And a lot of times that will help. And then just after you finish the starting chain, and again, this is only if it's extremely tight. And if you had a hard time working in the turning chain, then you're going to need to make it looser. Okay, if not, then you're fine. So this is a size H hook. You might want to go up to an I hook for the chain only. And then when you go to work the single crochet, make sure you go back to the smaller hook. Again, that's only if you had that problem. We are now ready to start row number 2, and let's just go ahead and dig in. I'm going to show you how easy this is going to be. This may look a little complicated at first, but if you watch it a couple times, I think you'll find that it's not so bad at all. First thing we're going to do is chain 2, and then we're going to work a double crochet in the first stitch. For those of you who've never worked a double crochet, first of all, this is probably not the project to start with. You may want to go and do some of my other projects that just do simpler stitches, but I'm going to, nonetheless, I will show you how this works. We wrap the hook, we stick the hook under those 2 top loops of the stitch from the previous row, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We have our double crochet. Now what I'm about to show you, I'm going to use a big scary word. It's actually a very simple crochet cable. I love to do crochet cables, and this is one of the first ones that I learned. And I learned this, believe it or not, when I was still in, I believe, junior high school. And this is the way we do this. We're going to wrap our hook 2 times because we're going to make a treble crochet. We're going to skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip those. And then we're going to go into that 4th stitch, and we're going to complete our treble crochet. And we do this by wrapping the hook twice, sticking in the hook, pulling up a loop, yarn over the loop, over the hook like we just did, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. It's very, very similar to a double crochet. It's just that we wrap the hook 1 extra time, and we do the yarn over, pull through 2 1 extra time. Now, to finish this, we're going to wrap the hook, and we're going to now work behind this stitch where we just pull it down in front like this, and we're going to work a double crochet in each of those stitches that we just skipped. 1, 2, 3, and that is what we're going to do all the way across on row 2. And actually this row and the row that I'm going to show you after this are the 2 rows that you're going to repeat throughout to form the baby blanket. So now we're going to do our next one. We're going to skip through the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to wrap the hook twice, and I'm going to go into the 4th stitch, pull up a loop. So you have 4 loops on your hook at this point. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You've made another treble crochet. Now we're going to do double crochets, but we're going to work them behind this stitch and in these 3 stitches that we skipped. We just pull it back like this. I wrapped my hook. That's 1, 2, and you can see how the yarn color is already changing for us. This is going to be a really colorful project, really fun for the baby's eyes. Okay, so now we have 2 of these. It's really half of an arrow. When we do the other half, the other treble is going to look like this, and you'll see that very shortly. I'm going to do a couple of these with you again. Skip the next 3 stitches, treble crochet. I've wrapped my hook twice now. Treble crochet the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to work behind this stitch, and you can do that by just pulling this down a little bit, and we're going to work a double crochet in each of the stitches that we just skipped. Now make sure that you don't put the double crochets in a stitch that already has a stitch in it. In that sense, if you do, your stitch count's going to get off quickly. Okay, let's do this again. Skip the next 3, 1, 2, 3, and here's the 4th one. I can even just hold my thumb there so that I know that's where it goes. I wrap the hook twice, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we work double crochets again in those 3 skip stitches. Yarn over, pull that treble crochet down so you're working behind it, and work a double crochet, whoops, in each of those 3 skipped stitches. Okay, if you still need stitch help, what you can do is just back this up and watch this a couple more times, but go ahead and work that all the way across the row. After working this row all the way across, you should have 24 of what we call an arrow, okay, which would be the treble and the 3 double crochets. Okay, so you should have 24 of those, and you should have 1 stitch left, and we're going to work a double crochet in that last stitch, just like that. Now we are ready to work row 3. We're going to go ahead and turn, and for row 3 we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to double crochet in that very first stitch. Now we're going to do something very similar to what we did the last time. We're going to skip the first or the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, which are all those double crochets, and then we're going to work a treble crochet, which will be in the same top of that treble crochet from row number 2. Okay, now the thing that's going to be different about this row is we are going to work our double crochets in each of these stitches, but we're going to work them in front of this stitch. So instead of holding this stitch back, we're going to push it forward and work the stitches in front. So we're going to work double crochets in each of these 3 stitches. I will work the next set a little more slowly. I just wanted you to see what was happening here. So we're going to do this all the way across. Skip the next 3 stitches, and I've wrapped my hook twice for my treble crochet in that next stitch, which as you can see here is the same top of that treble crochet from the last row. It's real important that you work it there and not in a double crochet. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to work double crochets in these 3 stitches that were skipped. Make sure you only wrap the hook 1 time for the double crochets. I think this blanket is a really good practice for learning the foundations of cables and combining different stitches, such as the double crochet and the treble crochet. So far we've actually used 3 of the most fundamental stitches out there: single crochet, double crochet, and the larger treble crochet. So let's go ahead and do another one. Skip the next 3 stitches, which are all those double crochets. I've wrapped my hook twice and treble crochet in the next stitch. And then working in front of this stitch, we're going to work these stitches in front. 3 double crochets, 1 in each of the skipped stitches. Let's do this one more time. Get our hook wrapped twice, skip the next 3 stitches, which are those double crochets, treble crochet the next stitch, which is the top of the treble crochet from the last row, and then work double crochets in front of that treble crochet. What we're looking at now is actually the back side facing. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull up some yarn. So this is actually the back side of your work. Now when I turn it around, ooh, look at that. You can see arrows. You see the treble crochets, they form arrows, which is what this stitch is named after. Also notice something else. If there was any curling in my work before, it has disappeared. It is gone. Now if you're at this point in your work and your work is still curling from a tight chain, I'm afraid you're going to have to take it out and do what I said before as far as, you know, bumping up the size hook for that foundational chain only. But if it's not a problem, you're good to go. So go ahead and repeat that all the way across the row. At the end of the row, we just work a double crochet in the top of that last double crochet of the row. And let's turn and take a look at the front side, see what we have. We have a lot of colorful, color-changing arrows here. And of course, depending on the yarn you use, you might get slightly different results. But I promise you, this is a lot of fun. I love to see the colors change. Now, to start row number 4, I'm going to start this row for you, but from rows 4 to rows 43, we are just going to repeat rows 2 and rows 3. The even numbered rows will have the front side facing, and you should be able to see the arrows. And again, when you're working on the rows 3 repeat, which would be the odd number rows, you will not see the arrows. You should see just the back of the stitches like this. So if you start seeing arrows on this side, then you know you're probably putting the stitches in the wrong place. So to begin row number, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to chain 2. This is just like to start row number 2, double crochet in that first stitch, and this is where we begin skipping 1, 2, 3 stitches, and we're going to treble crochet right there in the top where the last treble crochet is. It's a lot easier to see now than it was on row number 2. And now we're going to work double crochets behind this treble crochet so that that treble crochet stays in the front. So 1 double crochet in each of the 3 stitches that were skipped. And get ready to change the colors again. Now we're going to skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. And I've already wrapped my hook twice, and I'm going to treble crochet in that top of that next treble crochet, and then double crochet in each of the 3 skipped stitches behind using double crochets. Okay, I'm going to do that one more time. Skip the next 3 stitches, treble crochet, and on top of that treble crochet, working behind this stitch, double crochet in the 3 stitches that you skipped. Okay, let's pause. And this is basically the fabric that you're going to be crocheting back and forth. And to be honest with you, I think this will be really fun and very interesting for a child's eyes and brain, you know, to study the various colors and the shapes. So let's go ahead and work that for the next 40 rows until you, well, I guess until you complete row 43, or you can make this longer if you wanted to. It's however, you know, you choose to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and work this using repeating rows 2 and 3 through row 43. I just want to give you a preview. This is what I have after 5 rows. I just want to show you how the colors are changing and how these arrows are looking. Okay, we'll go ahead and work this through row number 43. Now that I've completed the first 43 rows, I can't show you everything so clearly, but I will show you at the end. But I just want to give you a feel of how the colors came out on this. This is really a lot of fun. It looks very springy. It'll be a lot of fun for the baby's eyes to, to just study these colors and everything. So now, after completing 43 rows, you should have the front side facing after turning at the end of that last row. Okay, so we've gone ahead, we've turned. Now, row 44 is actually it's a round. It's a perimeter round, meaning it's going to go all the way around. And what we're going to do is we're going to chain one, and we're going to single crochet in each stitch all the way across to the corner. Remember the single crochet? You stick the hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through two. In case some of you are brand new to changing the stitches up, I know it can get a little bit confusing. So go ahead and work single crochets in each stitch all the way to the first corner. After working the single crochets all the way across that edge, we are going to chain two and then single crochet in the same place where that last stitch was worked. Okay, and that was at the top of that last double crochet. Now we're going to turn 90 degrees, and since we've already worked this stitch here, let's just work one more in that row end, which is a part of this last half of the arrow worked. Now, the best way to work these evenly across is to work 2 stitches per row end. That should work out pretty well. For example, if we put one here and one here, so that's 2 per that next end of that arrow row, and then perhaps one here and here. Now, where you put the stitches exactly is really up to you, but just if you could have approximately 2 stitches per row end, I believe that these stitches will come out nice and even as you go across. Okay, this might be a little more on the complicated side or on the learning curve side if you're an absolute beginner, but I think it's really a good skill for you to start learning, because it's just a matter of 1 or 2 projects away before you have to kind of, dare I say, wing it and just kind of work along an edge that doesn't have the stitches, predetermined for you. It's a very excellent skill to get used to, and if you've never done that, just go ahead and jump in and try and see what you get. Don't be afraid if you don't like your results. It's very easy to just rip it back and try again. And trust me, when it comes to working on the row ends, I have had to do that more times than I can count. But don't be discouraged if this is a little bit hard. Just go ahead and jump in. Like I said, jump in and give it a try. So I'm going to go ahead and finish. I am working 2 stitches per row end. Of course, the exception is the very first here where we formed that corner. So go ahead and work that across till you get to the next corner. Once you get to that corner, just go ahead and work an extra stitch in that single crochet row. That was row number 1. And then go ahead and chain 2 and work another single crochet in that last place where you worked the last single crochet. Okay, now we're going to be working along the remainder of that foundation chain. If you can see, I put my hook in. There should be 2 little strands there. If you're not sure where to put the hook, find where the single crochet was, which was right here, and then just the opposite of that is where you put your hook. And we're just going to simply crochet 1 single crochet in each of those chains, or what's remaining of that chain that was worked right at the very beginning. Okay, I need to slow down. I'm sorry, I'm going too fast. Okay, so if you can see that, and go ahead and work those all the way across. I'm not sure if I remember giving you the stitch count. On this side, I have 85 single crochets all the way across on the side or the end there. And so go ahead and work all the way to the corner using single crochets in that foundation chain. After finishing those single crochets all the way across the foundation chain section, go ahead and turn 90 degrees, chain 2, and go ahead and work a single crochet in the same place as the last stitch. Now here's that strand that we had from the very beginning, and I'm going to try to just work on top of this as I go. So I'm going to add 2 single crochets. Actually, yeah, that's right. Actually 1 for this first row because we worked this first one in the single crochet. So I'm going to add a stitch here and go ahead and work 2 stitches or 2 single crochets per row end all the way across this other side of the blanket. And after we do this, we're just going to connect with the slip stitch, and I'll show that to you in just a minute. So just 2 single crochets per row end. I've worked these single crochets all the way across the row ends, and notice that the last one that I worked is in the same place as where the first single crochet of the round was worked. Go ahead and chain 2 and join with a slip stitch to the top of that single crochet, just like that. Now we're not going to turn or anything. We are going to begin round 5 with a chain 1 and just keep the front side facing for these last 2 rounds. We're going to single crochet in the same place as joining, just like that. Now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to single crochet in that next stitch, just like that. These are little chains we're going to make all the way around the blanket. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet in that next stitch. So go ahead and work this to the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, skip 3, and single crochet in the next stitch. So go ahead and work this to the corner. Okay, I've worked this all the way near the end of the corner, and the multiples are a little tiny bit off, but that's not going to be an issue with this. We're going to skip 1, 2 for these last 2. Go ahead and single crochet in the next, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains. 5 chains, and then skip the next 2, and then go ahead and work a single crochet in that corner, just like that. And this way, if you have to adjust a little bit, quite honestly, you cannot tell the difference, and that will be absolutely fine. After working in that corner, we're going to chain 5 again, and we're going to be working along the other edge. So just skip 2, 1, 2 for the first time, and single crochet in that next stitch, and then work 5 more chains. Skip, go back to skipping 3, 1, 2, 3 stitches, and then single crochet in that next stitch, and go ahead and do this all the way to the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, skip 3 stitches, and then single crochet in that next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet in the next stitch, and go ahead and work that all the way to the corner. That brings us all the way to the next corner. So go ahead and chain 5 again. Oops, that's 5. And then skip the last 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then single crochet in that chain 2 space, and turn 90 degrees and chain 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and single crochet in that first stitch, and we're just going to finish up here. Crochet 5 more, back to skipping 3, 1, 2, 3 stitches, and single crochet in that next stitch. So go ahead and crochet those 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, skip 3, 1, 2, 3 single crochets, and single crochet in that next space. Go ahead and do that all the way across that next edge. Okay, I'm nearing the end of this side, and I'm going to just skip 2 for this time. Skip 2. And again, feel free to adjust this as you need it. I'm just showing you how I'm adjusting this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then skip 2 more right here, and then do 5 more, or 5 more chains, skip 2, and then a single crochet in that chain 2 corner. I'm just showing you how I'm adjusting this so that it'll be, you know, even across. Okay, now I'm going to turn to work across the last end. I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm just going to skip 2 to begin. 1, 2. And single crochet in that next stitch. And then go back to chaining 5 and skipping 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And single crochet in that next stitch. So go ahead and finish off that last side, and I will show you how to connect it at the end. At the end, we're going to go ahead and chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip the last 3, and we're going to single crochet in that turning chain 2 space, and then go ahead and join with a slip stitch to that first single crochet, just like that. Now we're going to do something very important. We need to change our hook size. Now we're ready to use our G or 6 or 4.00 millimeter crochet hook for this last round. This is round number 46. Let's go ahead and get my yarn ready here. And so for this, we are going to chain 1, and we're going to work 4 single crochet into this first chain 5 space. Okay, so we've worked 4 single crochet. Now we're going to do something even more interesting. This is called making a picot. We're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then after we do that, we're going to slip stitch in the top of the last single crochet. So that we're going to take our hook and put it in the top of our last single crochet, and then just do a slip stitch like that, and it makes this little bubble thing, and I'll show that to you in just a second. And then we do 4 more single crochets in this same chain 5 space. Okay, so this is what we have, and this is what we're going to do in every one of these chain 5 spaces around. So let's go ahead and do that. In the next one, we're going to just skip this stitch here, and we go right into that next chain 5 space. Do 4 single crochets. So we have 4. Then we chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Just make sure the camera is not focusing on that in the background. And then we slip stitch into the top of that last single crochet, or the 4 single crochet worked in there, slip stitch, and then we work 4 more single crochets in that same place. I'm going to pause so you see what we're doing here. Not as difficult as it may have seemed at first. 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to slip stitch in that last single crochet. It's kind of like going backwards, I know. Put the hook in, pull the loop through, pull the loop through, and then 4 more single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's another skill you can add to your toolbox, and this is a fairly easy and I think very decorative finish for this baby blanket. I'm going to do it for you one more time. 4 single crochets in the next space. Just emphasizing again that we're skipping the single crochet. And then after I get some more yarn here, We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch in that last single crochet work. Put the hook in, pull the yarn through, pull the yarn through. So you have your little picot there. And then 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the color is going to change as we go around. That's going to be really nice. So go ahead and work that around the entire blanket. After working this all the way around, I'm going to go ahead and you see where this chain space is here? I'm going to go ahead and work a slip stitch right there in that space. Go ahead and give it a chain, give it a tug, and get your scissors out and leave a nice long strand so I can show you how to hide your loose strands. Okay, you're almost done, but this is the most important part. Okay, with the back side facing, let's go ahead and hide this loose strand. I'm going to go ahead and thread our yarn needle, and I try to run these under common colors, especially with the color changing yarn, just so that it's hidden under a common color. Let's go ahead and you can see what I did there. It's wrapping around the wrong thing there. There we go. Let's go ahead and pull that through. And I'm going to run them under some more of the threads, just like this. We can even go under some more over here. Doesn't hurt to hide it under a few more threads, or under a few more stitches rather. Okay, and I still have it threaded in there. That's good. And I'm going to give it a pull, and that'll be plenty of stitches to hide it under. And go ahead and get your scissors. Very carefully cut the strand without cutting your crochet. And we have hidden our little string there. So all I need to do now is hide the other loose strands. And after we do that, I'm going to show you a little bit up close what this edging looks like. And it does change colors as it goes around. It's a lot of fun. It should be real interesting and fun. That this blanket does have a lot of holes in it. And I know sometimes that bothers people. I don't think you should let it bother you, though. I think this is really a fun aspect of this particular design. There's a lot of interest visually for the baby, and also when the baby gets a little bit older. Friends of mine have a child, and one thing they love about the blankets is they can put their fingers through it without hurting the blanket. So there are a lot of places to do that, and it's a lot of fun. Very, very nice tactical kind of a thing for babies. Well, I hope you enjoyed the Arrow Baby Blanket. If you did, please hit that little bell and leave a message if you'd like on the video there for me. If you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button. That way you won't miss any of the new offerings that will be coming your way. God bless. Bye-bye.